Hello, this is LEGO Bionicle's latest version of Ekimu the Mask Maker, who, between seasons, has evidently been drinking plenty of milk, because he has grown quite significantly in every single dimension. He's now the size of a full-on Toa. He's gotten taller, wider, stronger, bulkier, and looks like he's gotten energized quite a bit as well, with the inclusion of lots and lots of trans-light blue. If you compare him to his original version, original official version here, when he was just a little guy, you see that, you know, there's direct correlation between the elements that you see. They got some of the printing with some horizontal and diagonal elements to it to kind of go with the previous armor add-on piece. The general spread of where the different colors are has remained consistent, and they still use the same general shape of shoulder pieces, but yeah, he's a lot bigger. As of the time of the recording of this video, the official story has not been updated. We don't yet know exactly why he has gotten larger or how he has grown and what's up with all the trans-light blue. What I'm assuming is that all the trans-light blue represents energy that's just flowing around him, like electrical arcs that are just skimming across the surface of his armor. So the actual guy, I don't believe will truly be so transparent like this, but I think that this is what they went for, to try to get that effect without using multiple colors, without mixing together the gold and the trans-light blue in every single element. Like the previous version, this one has the action feature in one arm. It's able to bring the arm up and down, so it's able to operate his hammer. And you just need to make sure that the shoulder armor is kind of angled in the right way to give it enough clearance to pass there. And the build of the hammer is actually really nice for what it's doing, for just using standard Technic pieces. I like the angling and how they got the crystal front of it the way that they did. I kind of miss the old 6-stud shooter system they had before, because I really did like the whole process of bringing this up and bringing it down and hitting something and having the studs fly off like little bits of crystal. That was just a cool effect, even though it was intended to be just a projectile weapon. But this crystal piece that they have for the front of it definitely does make sense. He also has gained, for 2016, the standard Toa, or new standard Toa, waist articulation to go back and forth. So you can kind of bring the hammer out like so. Kind of have him lunge forward a little bit. Just make sure that it's out as far as you can go. If you're in close quarters, then he can, hit something that's in front of him. So that actually works pretty well. Convert over to an up and down. Just get your hand out of the way, and the action features work okay, but you can see that there's definitely some awkwardness to it using both of these action features together. I think if you're a lefty, it'll work out a little bit better holding it in this hand, holding it by the legs. Then you have access here and you have access here, but there's just some awkwardness to using the two of those together. I appreciate their attempt to have both of those features there, but in reality, in practice, it doesn't work all that great. Also, the amount of weight that there is, even though there aren't too many pieces used in this hammer, the amount of weight that's in that end right there kind of affects how things will pose, as you saw as I was bringing it up and down. It's kind of changing its own pose as it wants, so it's starting to bend down just because there's a limited amount of friction in each of these single joints. On the other side, the shield is now attached to the forearm rather than being held in the hand. I think that makes sense, and I think it's kind of a beautiful color combination and texture combination with the circular saw blade there in the translucent light blue. It has just a little bit of frostiness to it, and then this well-decorated center wheel piece in the gold color. You can kind of change the angle of this relative to the front, which can be useful for some poses. It doesn't spin very well because it actually has friction inside of there. They've used the gray connector piece, which has 2 lengths of pin space on it and then 1 length of axle at the other end, and that has friction pegs or friction little bumps in both parts of the pin part, so it's not able to spin up freely, and that's unfortunate, because it's really nice to have something like this and just be able to do like that and watch it spin on its own a little bit. The set also comes with this alternate color version or variant of Umarak the Hunter's mask, which has the trans reddish orange color on it. Also, you'll notice that this does not use black as the darker color, it uses gunmetal gray. And when I actually put it onto Umarak the Hunter here, it made the whole thing look like it's kind of faded out a little bit relative to all the pure black colors that are used in the armor and the build of Umarak the Hunter. The gunmetal gray on the face just loses contrast and kind of loses some of the strength. Remains to be seen what the story will be behind that. While I'm swapping out masks, I might as well swap this one out as well, because we previously got the all gold version of the Mask of Creation, and that to me makes Ekimu look much more grounded and present. Seems to be more contrast and just more, yeah, I think presence is really the best term for it. I think that the ideal solution, though, would have been to do something similar to what they did with his original version of mixing together the two colors with the solid gold and the transparent light blue. I think that, you know, if you got some trans light blue around the tips of the crown there and out towards the edges, it would have made it look more like, you know, Ekimu is there with his golden mask, but the power is coming into it. Whatever that, you know, electrical energy is, I think would have made for a nice, you know, a nice fade compared to going all the way as they did, just going completely transparent, which almost makes him look spirit-like or ghost-like to me. So the increase in size here is very nice. I'm still getting some pretty serious Takanuva vibe out of the Mask of Creation here. I like transparent stuff. I like transparent blue in general. I think it works well against the gold. I almost feel like there's just a little bit too much of it here. Not a whole lot too much, just a little bit. I do wish that they had left a little bit of gold in just the mask, and then I think it would have been pretty ideal from an aesthetic perspective. The weapons, the weapon and the shield are nice. Each action feature by itself is okay, but as I showed, they don't really work that well together for actual play. You know, for display, of course, you don't really care about that very much for just posing and such. It has all the articulation that you need with just a pretty standard frame, and it has the right amount of friction for posing. Just the action features together get a little messy. So that's it for my thoughts on this one. Share your thoughts, what you think about the set, about the change in size, and the color scheme in particular. Leave a comment on the video if you would like to. I'd appreciate your feedback very much. I'm going to get to work on the next video, and I'll be talking to you again very soon.